Creative Funding is a programme managed by Aberdeen City Council's Cultural Policy and Partnerships team. My name is Elspeth Winram and I am a Cultural Planning Officer, and you can contact the team if you have any questions or if you'd like to have a meeting by emailing creativefunding@aberdeenscity.gov.uk. The aim of this presentation is to introduce applicants to the funding stream to support them to make the best application possible. An application form and the guidelines are available on the web page to download. You can see the link here on the slide, and the application deadline is Sunday the 29th of May 2022 at midnight. The funding programme has been available year on year for over 20 years, subject to council budget approval. It is a fantastic opportunity for creative people and organisations who have an idea and project they wish to pursue. The funding has been awarded to festivals, community groups, brand new arts organisations, and has supported projects from emerging individual artists through to established organisations. A range of projects can be considered, such as performances, exhibitions, networking events, or even something completely new and innovative. There are very few limitations regarding the type of creative project that can be supported. It has supported organisations like Greyhope Bay to work with artists on a series of bi-monthly public engagement workshops to explore the themes of marine environment, heritage and sustainability. And it supported activities such as the Aberdeen organisation, All in Ideas, and the studios, the Anatomy Rooms, to develop an exhibition space and programme of activities with new graduates and emerging artists. This image by Katie Taylor was part of their first exhibition. It has also been awarded to Soundplay Projects, who developed an accessible, interactive sound, music and light project, and a series of workshops for young people with disabilities in the city. And funded Kate Steinhauer to create In the Bell, an audio-visual work exploring themes of gender, identity, and sexuality through live evolving painting, music, and intimate stories shared by the Aberdeen trans community. So who can apply? If you're an artist, an individual or creative who lives in Aberdeen, you can apply for funding for up to £2,000. There will be 10 awards allocated this year, 2022 to 23. And if you were successful and received a Creative Funding Award in 2021 to 22, unfortunately you cannot apply this year, but can apply next year. Individuals have to be over 18 and must reside in Aberdeen. There is no match funding requirement for an individual applicant. This means you do not have to raise further funding to apply, although we do encourage applicants to consider a range of funding options. We recommend that individuals allocate about 50% of the overall project budget as fees, although this is flexible and can be a higher proportion depending on the nature of your proposal. Our advice would be to please make sure that you consider all aspects of the activity that requires funding to make the project viable. If you're studying for a course, the project you're applying for through Creative Funding cannot be part of your coursework. This includes working at master's or PhD level. Organisations can apply for up to £10,000. and it is possible to make 2 applications per year. And to highlight that there may only be one round of creative funding this year, depending on the available budget. If you're an organisation, you may apply for up to 75% of the total cost of your proposed activity. The remaining 25% must be cash funding from a source external to council funding. Examples of cash funding include projected ticket sales, organisational funds, or a grant from another funding body, not an in-kind contribution of time or resources. This means Aberdeen-based organisation can apply who have a specific creative project in mind and are not-for-profit or have charitable status, are a social enterprise or community interest company. Also, organisations based out with Aberdeen City can apply. However, the creative activity or project they are proposing has to be delivered in the city. What areas and fields can creative funding support? This slide shows a long list of creative areas and fields that can be funded from this programme. This includes music, theatre, dance and visual arts. If you are unsure if your project can be supported, then please get in touch with us through our email address. There are 3 areas of activity you can apply for. They are delivering activity, developing ideas and projects, and professional development. These areas are explained in question 3 in your application form, and you may tick more than one area. Tactics for Togetherness were successful in developing work for an exhibition. The exhibition had a participatory element where they encouraged the public to contribute to the exhibit within the show. So they developed an idea and project, delivered a participatory activity, and the project was professional development for the collective. In their application, they ticked all 3 areas. This was the same for Hannah Louise, who developed 3 mini commissions for written, visual, or performance artists who wish to make new work inspired by their own lived experience of marginalisation. You can see the work they have produced on the web page highlighted on the slide. There are 6 criteria that a panel of professionals and creative from the sector will review. They are, first of all, the cultural and creative focus. Make sure your application is for an activity mentioned in slide 8 in this presentation and in page 4 of the guidelines. If you're unsure, then please do get in touch with the team. The quality of activity. The panel will also consider the quality of the activity as they review your application. Try to answer each question clearly, and if you are unsure, then please ask for assistance. Also, good quality support material is important. Impact of activity. Consider the difference that your project will make to answer a question about impact. Also, consider how you will evaluate your project to show that you have made a difference. That relates to question 5A in the application. Project management. Write clearly about the project and how it will be managed, especially if there are more artists or partners involved. For example, explain who will take on which roles. Again, this relates to question 5A in the application. Risk management. Please consider and write about any risks associated with the project and how you intend to mitigate against risks. especially how you might adapt your project if government guidelines change in relation to COVID-19. You may have to digitize your work or make the activity go online. You can, if you wish, add a simple risk assessment as support material. Budget management. Consider all the funding required to undertake your project, for example, time and resources. If you're calculating your fees, please look at hourly rates through the Scottish Artists Union or other industry standards. There is a useful Creative Scotland PDF link on page 12 of the guidelines. Calculate how much funding you will need to adapt your project to go online if required. Also, if considering any hire of equipment, as mentioned on page 7 in the guidelines, there is a preference to support hiring rather than buying equipment. There are exceptional cases when buying equipment can be supported. For example, if the case is made financially that it is more economical and the panel consider that the costs can be supported. As mentioned, good quality support material will help the quality of your application. Here are some suggestions. Individuals are required to upload an up-to-date CV. If you can make sure your CV is relevant to your creative journey, strengthen areas that highlight this. That could be any experience that relates to the project you're applying for, volunteer roles, or part-time temporary roles. If your project includes other people, you can include their CVs as well. Organisations are required to upload their business plan and can include staff CVs that relate to the project. You can include photographs of previous projects. This illustrates the quality of your previous work. They should be carefully selected to reflect the activity proposed in the application form. If you could please make sure that images are clearly labelled and include relevant information as appropriate. Where possible, please save multiple images as one PDF document with clear titles and the dates of the activity they relate to. This is helpful when your application is reviewed. If sharing a link to online images, then please check the link is to pages specifically related to your work and not to personal accounts. If you could make sure that all your links in your application are working, for example, links to websites, video or audio files. And when doing this, please make sure that the file size does not exceed 5 megabytes in size. This can be shared by email or a file sharing service. Other support material, this could be a letter of support from a partner in the project or a professional that can support your experience to deliver the project. Another possibility is a marketing plan to show you how you will market and profile your project through social media and other avenues. A project management table can also be uploaded, and this can show visually how you will deliver your project and the timescales. It is possible to upload a basic risk assessment as support material to help describe risks and how you will mitigate against them and lower them. A budget table can be uploaded if you need to further explain your budget. Also, reports, consultation and previous evaluations can be added as support material. There is a question about how you will evaluate your project. Creative Scotland have a toolkit called Is This the Best It Can Be? It is for anyone delivering art engagement activities and creative learning. Arts Council England also have a download for evaluating a project, and Education Scotland also have information on how to plan and evaluate creativity. Think about what you want to achieve or improve, then consider how you will gather information throughout the project to show that it has been achieved. Some practical ideas to gather information are online. or paper questionnaires or surveys. Collect data about attendees. A scrapbook showing project development. Ask a sample group their opinion about the project via email, telephone, online, or in person. And taking photographs or video as a record of a project. There's a checklist you can go through before sending your application, and advice sessions are available if you wish to talk to a member of staff about your specific project by emailing the team. The deadline for completing the applications is Sunday, the 29th of May 2022 at midnight. We look forward to seeing your applications and thank you for listening.